I just finished going through the diversity module and taking notes, and there are a few points that I thought were really important and that applied to my teaching. Um, One of the first things that the module talked about was self-reflection. Um, I think it's really important that as teachers we reflect on our own values and our beliefs, um, and what our culture is, and what sort of implications that has on our teaching. Um, I know, for me even, it's uncomfortable to think that I have preconceived ideas about um, certain groups of people, or I make generalizations. I'd like to think that I don't, but I really, I think everyone needs to take a deep look and a fine-tooth comb at what our beliefs are, so that we can better serve our students. So the module also talked about different ways that we can be more culturally responsive. Um, so sort of tagging along that idea and expanding our outlook on these different students. Professional development, I think, is huge. Going to these different conferences and hearing speakers and finding new strategies to get to know your students and better connect with the families. Um, Doing self-directed study. The module mentioned reading biographies and studying the history of some of these cultures, um, but which I think is great. I also feel like culture is it can be very specific to the individual. So I also think it is important to build in opportunities to get to know your students and their specific culture beliefs um, within your lesson plans. Um, so another thing that I wanted to talk about was the challenges of parent involvement. This is something I've experienced in my clinical classroom. Uh, the population of my school is primarily Hispanic, and the majority of my students are English language learners. Um, I've had difficulties sending permission slips home and having parents help their students with their homework because they don't speak English, or just not enough to assist their students or to understand um, the slip that they're going to sign. So some of the things that I've done is to send the permission slip in English and in Spanish, and then their homework, put the directions and some of the text in Spanish as well. So this double duty is also helpful for the students, because now not only can the parents read it and help their students, but the students also have that added support, and they're comparing the two worksheets in English and Spanish. Some great ideas I actually got from the module were learning basic phrases and common words that you can use over and over when speaking to the parents, and also employing bilingual staff like paraprofessionals. I've seen Spanish-speaking uh, parents face when a para or a teacher begins speaking Spanish to them, and it's one of relief, that someone can understand them and they can communicate. And I just think it really builds a deeper connection, and you really are able to um, kind of strengthen a relationship with that component. Um, I think it improves trust, and just the relationship all around can really improve by just that little bit, even if it's only a few phrases where they're like, okay, you're trying to connect with me, you're here to help us. Um, I just think that's a great component. Lastly, The module also talked about family compositions. This is something I've also experienced in my clinical classrooms. I think it's important to be cognizant and sensitive to the different compositions that you may encounter. Students may go home to aunts and uncles, to grandparents, to siblings. They might go home to nobody. Um, they may have a parent that's out of the picture. They may be incarcerated. Same sex parents. It's something that you really should get to know where students are going when they leave, what they're doing, who's going to help them with their homework, who's going to sign those permission slips, and just really what's going on at home is really influences what happens in their learning. So that's all I have for you. Those were some points that I thought really applied to my teaching, and I will think about them further. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks.